hands down by your sides and just push your hands into the bed and see if you can, that's it, and make yourself move. But we don't get too concerned with mainstream techniques. If she's not able to get her hands flat and she's pushing down with her knuckles, can you do that? But that might make your knuckles sore after a while. So we could put some padding in, we could put cushions under her hands or pillows or even bubble wrap just to protect her knuckles. But anyway, you can get your hands flat. Actually, you can only get one flat. The other one has a hemiplegia. So if you're pushing with one hand now, what's going to happen? Can you see she's leaning over to one side, she's compensating, and that's not good because all the muscles on one side are getting developed, not the other side, and she's leaning over. So we need to ideally get her to be in a neutral position posturally, using all the muscles equally on both sides of her body. But she can only get one hand down. So what we could do, Shirley, you could do this, put the peanut underneath the arm with the hemiplegia. So if you can lift up that arm, Julia. That's it. So you might need to hold that in position. Obviously make sure she has sufficient muscle tone that she's not going to pop her shoulder out. So now you can push down with your elbow and your hand. So you're using both sides of the body evenly and you're not leaning over to one side and compensating. Okay, thank you. Now you can get both hands flat, but unfortunately you've got no idea of tempo and you're just flapping them around. Can you just do that? Do it even worse. Even worse, flapping your hand. And out of time. Yeah, you're going to get that. So we need to enable her to experience what it feels like to push her hands rhythmically into the bed. So we need to have one teacher each side, kneeling on the floor, with hand over her hand, and just push in time, push, 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 push. So you're enabling her to experience what it feels like to push. So a bit harder, push, 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 push. Yeah? And over time, you'll start to reduce the support until eventually she can do it on her own without support. So now we're going to get the student to swim her arms to initiate movement. Now at first we'll need to support this, so we're going to have one teacher behind riding the bed and another teacher in front taking the hand and swimming in time with the bounce. So she's beginning to experience what it feels like to swim her arms rhythmically. Okay? And now we'll do mirroring, so let go of the hands and get her to copy you, Lois. Yeah? And now you can come away, Lois. Good. Good. And then finally, Shirley could come down and the student could do it on her own. Good, thank you. So we're going to look at how we might develop some programs for people with specific needs. We'll look at profound and complex needs. Maybe somebody with cerebral palsy, very high tone, all four limbs are affected, and good idea to liaise with a physiotherapist. You know, find out what their objectives for this person is and see how you can develop a program that might complement the existing physio program. Ideally, if it's somebody with very high tone, you'll probably want to relax them, reduce tone, maybe straighten arms and legs, maybe increase the range of movement, that sort of thing. But always liaise with the physio. So, Julia, could you play the part of a person with cerebral palsy, all four limbs are affected? So you want to sit on the bed, or maybe you've been hoisted onto the bed, and you're very tight like this, and legs are up as well. So the first thing we need to do is make you comfortable. So Shirley, you need to sit behind her, and we're going to put some packing in. So Lois, everywhere there is a gap that Julia is maintaining with her own muscles, we're going to fill it. And you can use pillows, cushions, bubble wrap, blocks of foam, anything that's going to make her comfortable. So underneath her knees definitely need to be packed, so underneath the knees. And as you've shown us as well, under the elbows. Good. And Shirley, you could maybe support her if she needs it. Yeah. If she wasn't able to hold her head up, you could put a pillow around her head and rest it on your shoulder, of course. So now could you, well, you can show us that, yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
So
Or if she's likely to jerk her head back, of course, you might want to put a pillow there. So you might support her head as well, Shirley, with your hand. Yeah. So now, can you lift her head up a little bit more? That's it. So it's not tilting back. So put some more support behind her head. That's it. So now, can you gently ride the bed? Yeah. So you could work together on riding the bed, perhaps. Yeah. Or maybe you could work on increasing the range of movement. So step down and take her hands. And Shirley is going to be riding the bed while you're swimming her arms. Yeah. And maybe Shirley needs to help by holding the elbows. These are just ideas for helping people develop their own programs. Don't expect that you're going to do everything exactly as we're doing here. So maybe you can lift her elbows up a little bit now, Shirley, because we're trying to increase the range of movement a bit more. That's good. Okay, so just rest for a second. Some children extend, they push back, and that's going to make your back ache, Shirley. So can you do that, Julia? So the bar behind you enables you to, have some support, because if we put some pillows behind you now, so put those two pillows behind Shirley. So another one. So now she can lean against that bar, and if Julie is extending, it's not going to give her backache. So you can now come in front of her again, Lois, and maybe support her hands, ride the bed. But if Julie's extending, so push back, Julia, but Shirley's fully supported by the bar and the cushions to make it a bit more comfortable. Okay, thank you. So now we've got the student into a hands and knees position. This is a very able student, and she's able to show and maintain this position all on her own. But if she wasn't, if she kept collapsing or flopping back on her heels, we could give her support. So you could try a Swiss ball. So can you put the pink ball underneath her, Shirley? Put it right underneath her. And then hands and knees. So put your hands on the bed. So move back a little bit. Move back. That's it. So hands and knees are on the bed. Yeah. Or a smaller student, you could use a peanut. So that pink ball is about the right size for you, Julia. The peanut is going to be too small for you because it's not giving you full support, is it? But it would be ideal for a smaller student. Okay, but you don't need any of those supports. So now we're going to start to initiate movement. First of all, we'll ride the bed. So maybe Lois, you could just put your hands over her hands, and Shirley, you could stand across her and just gently ride the bed. Good. Now the next logical step would be for the student to initiate the movement. And in most cases, you'll need to support while they're trying to initiate the movement themselves. So can you each go one side of her, kneeling on the floor, one hand over the hand, one hand behind the knee. So you're going to push, 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 and enable her to experience what it feels. Don't be afraid to keep saying the word. Push, 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 push. And over time, you'll reduce support and reduce support a bit more until eventually she's doing it on her own. Good, okay, thank you. So now we've got the student into a high kneeling position. But if she couldn't hold this position, if she kept flopping back on her heels, you could maybe put a peanut in there to support. So that'll stop her flopping back, and you might hold her hands as well. Yeah. Or you could maybe have the peanut upright so she can support herself on it. And maybe Shirley, you might need to stand behind her to support as well. So you give her whichever support is appropriate for her needs. Okay? But she doesn't need any of that support, so we take it all away. And now Shirley, maybe you can take her hands and just enable her to experience what it feels like to swing her arms and initiate movement. And then moving on, this might be a week later or several weeks later, mirroring, so get her to copy you. Good. And then eventually she could do it on her own. Lovely, thank you.